I miss outside life. I miss social life. I miss hanging out with friends at Mama, McD, late night. I miss that time when the pandemic or COVID was not even here. And yeah, I think my social skills, if there's level to it, it's depleting to a point where if we happen to meet in real life again, I swear to God, I would be awkward. But at the same time, I can't just like message my friends, right? Or anyone, friends, colleagues, acquaintance, buddies, whoever. But at the same time, I have this problem where I do not know where do we go? Like, not where do we go, it's like, how close are we to begin with? Are you just an acquaintance or just a someone that we just happen to pass by and then hi bye? Or although we know each other for so long already, but at the same time, are we that level of close already? Because I don't know. That is something that I've had problem ever since. Like, even if I have like friends or in a group group chat with friends, I rarely type back, message. I just rarely respond because, like for instance, group chats from high school. I mean, the big ones I don't really respond, not because I don't really care sangat, because they always talk about futsal, so go ahead, I'm not really into futsal. But the ones that are like the English drama club, the ones that I was like in the friends that I have from high school or even uni, I have troubles with responding. I don't know, I feel like probably because I am actually bad with responding, but at the same time, I'm not sure. Even if the group chat is very active, I'm always the one who are like watching, not really watching, just reading, like, this is memories. I'm like, I want to say something, but at the same time, I hesitated to a point where there will be like 50 messages spamming, and then that topic that I've been contemplating is like, it's long gone already, and I'm like, oh well. Hello there, you're listening to Zomali's Thoughts and Nuts podcast, where I talk about the things that interest me or bothers me, but most of the time it's just me talking about my opinions and thoughts as me in real life. I am awkward. Really am. If you meet, I always mention this, not really, if I were to say it in another way, me in front of camera doing podcasts and me in real life are two different personality, two different beings, and I think is what I think that we are two different beings, as if there is another Zoli, then the one that you're meeting up in real life is another Zol, and the one in front of camera and behind mic is the one that you are listening. Like two different entities, two different beings is what I think. And also, speaking of doing podcasts, it's not because I am having a creative block or something as I start to record lesser hours, lesser minutes, less than 30 minutes. That thing has been bothering me ever since 2 weeks, I guess. It bothers me already, because one of the reasons why I love podcasts is because the idea of where a person or two are able to talk about something for long hours, even if it's just a solo podcast, people can actually just talk long hours without having to care. Rather than having to care, it's more like the liberty of speaking their thoughts out loud is there, and I want that. I want to do something like that, because I know in real life I pent up most of the time. But the fact that I prompted the question, should or can podcast be 5 minutes or lesser or shorter, something like that, I've been way too aware, like the duration of how long my podcast should be. Because I know, even if you listen to my previous episodes, me talking for hours is something that I can actually do, or I won't have problems, although I get tired along the way. But the idea of talking long hours is, to me, I enjoy, because it's something that I cannot have outside my room, away from camera, away from mic, without uploading. In real life, it's something that I cannot do. And the fact that I prompted that question, it made me even more aware, to a point where if my podcast or recording time exceeds 30 minutes, I'm like, it's either I re-record or I just not cut. Even before 30 minutes start to, like, okay, it's almost 30 minutes, I would be already aware. And why it bothers me is because not only that in real life I'm actually limiting myself, refraining myself from speaking out loud. Me talking in podcasts also, I have put a self-limiter, which I do not want, because I know not only that I will pent up in real life, but I'm also penting up in my own podcast. And I am, how do I say, not depressed. I'm bothered, but at the same time sad about it, because, oh Zol, you've shown refrain in real life, but the fact that you're showing refrain in your podcast also, meaning that you are in trouble, I guess, is what I think. But anyways, I was talking about missing friends, missing social life, hanging out, and I mentioned that I have problem knowing where I am in a friendship. Not really because it's the fault of the other person. It's pretty much just me setting my boundaries and walls too high, or I'm very not open. Although, for instance, I know you probably like 4 or 5 years already, yet I would feel like, were we actually just acquaintances, or just we happen to be in a group and then we just be friends? I mean, at the same time, I know who are my friends. They're like, oh, I trust you more. But even if I do trust a person A more than person B in terms of friendship or something, I would be like, I still have doubts. Like, can I talk about this with you? And I know that they're not free passport. Like, there's green light from the other person. Like, hey, if you want to talk about this, then just go ahead. I'm open with it because we're friends to begin with, and there's green light. At the same time, if this was like the road and I'm driving, there's a traffic light. If friendship is like driving and there's traffic light, even if it's green light, I would still hesitate to move. Like, is this okay? Am I allowed to move? That is how doubtful I am with people in religion. This is why I think that I need to actually go out and, like, talk with people, talk with friends, hang out more. But we're in the middle of pandemic. We're in COVID-19. We're in total lockdown. But at the same time, when you think about it, if you've gone grocery shopping, and it does not feel we are in a lockdown. Like, people are still going in and out normally. And aside from people who are buying food, because that is necessities, because you should, if you do not buy something, that hopefully you have a farm at your house. But if you don't have a farm at your house, then you should go buy groceries so that you do not starve to death at your own home. But when you when you like look outside, there's still traffic, there's still people, like non-essentials also just happen to be like outside normally without, we're in the middle of lockdown. It feels like a lockdown because we're in our own home, but it does not feel like a lockdown at all. It doesn't seem as if we are in a lockdown. Yeah, that's what I think now. Like, and also I won't be surprised, or this is like not a prediction lah. It's more of I won't be surprised if the next Raya Idul Fitri will be doing it virtually again. That is something that I won't be surprised. But also, if that happens, it will anger me, because people will still be the same, as in like, oh, we're still in lockdown, but I want to go balik kampung. And that stubbornness in people is where I'll be more pissed off, because the numbers are still high, yet you still want to go home, balik kampung, when even if it's like during Raya and you say you want to balik kampung, guess what? I'll say this once again. I hope I did say this. You do not enjoy the idea of Raya kampung. You enjoy the idea of going on a trip balik kampung on the road. That's what you enjoy. And I don't deny lah, because we've been locked in our own house for too long, unless you're going out to buy food. But we've been inside our own house for too long that we want to be on the road. But at the same time, if you think that your reasoning is that, oh, because I want to balik kampung and enjoy the Raya at kampung, then you're just lying. Because as I said, you only enjoy the idea of on the road going to celebrate Raya at your own kampung. And even if you say, oh, because I want to meet my relatives and all, guess what? You can meet your relatives. You can video call them right now, if you miss them so much. I mean, I also, even if I miss my friends so much, then I can just video call them if I want. But at the same time, again, if we're talking about Raya again, okay, fine lah. The first day of Raya, salam, maaf zahir batin, kosong. But at the same time, the next second, the very next minute, you make something that irks or triggers the other person, then the idea of maaf zahir batin is just a hoax. Maaf zahir batin, kosong. Since we're kosong, I'm going to, strike a point before you strike first. That kind of thing. And after that, salam, maaf zahir batin, you'll be like, okay, let's go eat at the living room, open TV, enjoy hee haha, etc. blah blah blah. But the next thing that you know, the whole house is quiet, only the sound of the TV blaring, and everyone is on their own phone. Even if you're next to each other, you will still text. I mean, there are certain people are like that. Although if you have like the decency of thinking, being human, then you would put the phone down and, hey, wanna go out and jalan-jalan or something? And then if you're like that, then your reasoning of not balik kampung is valid. But it's just, there are stubborn people who use the reason for their own benefit without even thinking. But yeah, I won't be surprised if the next Raya it will be doing virtually. But at the same time, if Raya is your only way to meet up, not really meet up, to call your relatives, why not take 5 minutes or 10 or 30 minutes lah in the evening after your work to call your relatives, to call your makcik pakcik if you miss them so much. I mean, weekends. I'm not asking weekdays. Weekends. Just do that. Then your rindu, your missing them will be gone in a few moments, because you've catched up during the weekends. And of course, the idea of listening to another person's difficulties and struggles is something a little bit hard nowadays because everyone is struggling on their own. Like they have their own struggles to begin with, but give and take. We have our own. We understand that everyone's struggling in the middle of pandemic right now, and we care about you. You care about me. Let's hear each other so that you can be a little bit okay compared to the previous hour or minute. At least the burden of like we are struggling is lifted. Yeah. And as I said, I'm very aware of the minutes going when I'm recording. I'm limiting myself, which I think I shouldn't, but at the same time I have no freaking idea. I feel I'm saddened about it because I've put a limit not only towards me in real life, but my only form of opening up in this podcast. But you know what? I guess it will go away. Who knows? So, before I end this podcast episode, my mom my mom prompted a question to the youth, to the ones who are the same age as me, 3 years younger, older, or university graduates. This is for you. Let me repeat that. If you are my age or 5 years older or younger in uni or a uni graduate, if you're listening to this, what's your take? What's your take on employment, self-employed, and being the employer during this pandemic? What's your take? Whatever it is, if it's negative or positive, whether if it's hard or easy, the question box is open. So please do not hesitate to fill in or just drop your thoughts so that I can use it for the next episode, because it's a very wide topic for a single person to talk about. Since we're talking about the whole world, there's a lot of stories to begin with. If you're talking about the ones like my side, then no one's gonna really understand. Like, oh, you have that problem, and then of course people have their rights, not really rights. People want to say their share of struggle also. So this is why I prompt this question to everyone, like, my age or younger or older, or you're a uni graduate, wherever you are, and even if you're like 40 above or even a baby and you want to put your thoughts, then dipersilakan, because why? Thoughts is thoughts, and it is this, and you deserve to be open, not really revealed. Your thoughts is actually important. I don't know what I'm even saying, because the idea of panting up is not something that I would advise people to do. So do not hesitate to drop in your opinions. Yeah. And that is all from Zolimali's Thoughts and Nuts podcast. It has been Jigong Kaji Zolimali Deshta. Bye bye.